Hello, everyone. Maybe now I'll say hello. Sometimes I can never tell when these things start. So I'm late. I think I said I was going to be here at 4:10, and here it is 4:13. And then my Patreon doesn't let me schedule last minute things, apparently. Or I don't know how to schedule last minute things, one of the two. So I got a couple today. We're only going to be here for about an hour or so, and I will try to schedule one for Tuesday because this had no advance warning, so I'll be lucky to catch anyone live. Probably get some people on YouTube or on Patreon later. But there's a couple things I wanted to do, and one of them is not on my table. Oh my gosh, unorganized. So I was chatting with another artist on Instagram/Facebook. I think we're on Facebook the other day. Rob Duenas. I'm probably messing up his name. I think it's Duenas. And he does these things where he does a little bit of watercolor over color pencils. And we were chit-chatting about it, and I wanted to try it out and see what it looked like. So the other day, I did an inking of Elle from Raising Cain. I printed out 2 copies of her, printed copy, than they are on the original. I'm not sure if that's something that the scanner's doing or if it's something that is happening with the printer. I'm gonna have to try to experiment and figure that out one day soon. So what I've done is I put color pencil on the first 2. And then on the second one, I actually did Copic, and actually Copic's really expensive, so I started using these. I want to call it Aztec. I can't remember what the name of it is. It's not called Aztec. It's called Artica. They're pretty inexpensive compared to Copic, but indeed, they actually color pretty well. The tips aren't quite as nice as Copic because you get some pretty nice tips out of Copic. They're soft. They go where you want them to. These tips are a little harder, a little bit more like a traditional how would you say felt tip pen. Not quite brush like. Although some colors seem softer than others, so I'm not quite sure if that's just an inconsistency in the quality of their brushes, or maybe something that's to do with the color. So here we go. What Rob does is he does watercolor, and I'm going to try to do watercolor right now. I haven't done watercolor in ages, and I'm going to have to link this video to him. I didn't really plan this out in advance, otherwise I would have told him I was doing it. But I'm not even going to pull out my nice watercolors. I'm going to use the good old-fashioned cheapo watercolors because they look pretty good, actually. But I'm going to have to try to make, oh gosh, a skin tone, because there's really no skin tone here. And let's see. I'm trying to keep anything water related away from my computer because my laptop's right here next to me. And I don't have a dabbing towel. Not smart. Actually, I think I'll use just a hair of... Oops, maybe too much red. Actually, not terrible. Kind of an orangey tan color. Sorry, I just went off camera here a little bit because I had to reach over my water. I'll use, oh, here I am. Yeah, now I'm getting kind of mustard. Dang. Let me diffuse it with a little bit of white. I might have to do a little bit more red too. That's really, really yellow, not really skin-like. Mixing colors. Oh, that's much better. But how much do I have? Not much. Let's see here. I also have a finer brush to hit some of the. Ooh, this is thick. This is very thick. There's actually quite a lot. This big brush here. Let me see if I can pull some of it up. And this is probably why. Oh my God! Nobody does something like this live, except someone like a pro like Rob, for example. See, there we go. Oh, look at that. I'm actually picking up the ink, and this is days and days after the I did the inking. I mean, I did this last week, and I'm actually now picking up the ink. Oh my gosh, looks like she's got a 5 o'clock shadow. I'm going to call this experiment probably a failure, unfortunately. Yeah, should start with a smaller brush. He gets some really nice texture out of his watercolors. I wanted to try it out, see if I could get something similar. One of the things we were talking about was paper. I'm just using a standard Bristol board. And he uses, oh my gosh, that face. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that ink is coming up just for kicks. I've already gone over this with the pens, of course, but no. The ink from the printer is safe, but the ink from my pen is not safe. So thus may end, and my paper's curling. This is part of what we were talking about the other day. He was talking about he can't use regular Bristol board. Because, oh yeah, I think we've come to the end of our lesson here because that's ruined. The paper, notice also, this is only 65 pound. I have 85 pound as well. I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to angle it for the camera and look at my computer at the same time. Come on, angle. No, I don't think you can see it, but it's bowing up already. Let me do this. Can you see this? You can see it actually push up against the paper up there. I did okay on the arms, but yeah, I used that large brush on her chest, and that really messed things up. But actually, I kind of like what I see here. Aside from the chest. So maybe I won't tell Rob I did this. Let's do a little bit of the hair just for kicks. I'm just going to start with a plain yellow here with my smaller brush. Oh, that's turned out nice. Yeah, so mixing color pencil and watercolor is pretty cool. Definitely need a thicker board. Yeah, definitely need a thicker board. And so go back to the fat brush real quick. I want to see what happens when I try to smooth out the uniform here. So, yeah, move that out of the way. Kind of a gray. Oh my gosh, I left white out of yellow in here. I mean, excuse me. Let me put this over here. Just a bit of black. Just a bit more black. I gotta clean these out afterwards. And plus, if I was using a better quality watercolor, that might make a big difference. Oof. Get a swipe of blue in there. It's kind of light gray. A little bit more water. Let me get actual water on my brush. Yeah, looking better. That's really watery. Okay. Well, actually, she's a big brush. Let's see what happens here. Going on kind of thick. Whoa, my brush technique is terrible. Probably the last time I actually water brushed, 1990s. That's a long time. Okay. So you see what's happening there? Yes, the paper is curling again. But what I'm getting is you're still getting a little bit of texture from the color pencil. But it sort of smooths out. Smooths it out so you don't see the lines quite as much. I find that interesting. I have a story to tell about color pencils that I can't tell because it's part of a Christmas gift. And if this person watches this video, I will have spoiled their Christmas gift. Isn't that funny? Anybody else watching this video, whether it's today or some other time on YouTube, I don't have that many patrons follow me. Not bad. What I'm going to do is do a little bit of shading in here. How is your breathing when you're doing a live stream? I noticed that I kind of breathe heavier. I don't think it's nerves particularly. I'm not nervous. Maybe it's when I'm talking. And concentrating. I'm actually starting to get my painting mojo back. There we go. Oops. Tink. Shoot my finger. Okay. Yeah, so breathing. Tell me if you notice a difference in your breathing when you're doing a live stream. If you do a live stream and you watch this video. Okay, wow. That really messed up that chest. I think that ought to do it for this experiment. Yeah, I just went like full on in and started coloring, and that was just kind of silly. I should have used the smaller brush like I did in the arm. Worked out really well. The original ink lines are bleeding, so this is the ink from my my brush pen and Micron. Although I don't see any bleeding specifically from Micron, like the hatching, but this is from my Kiritaki. So get my finger in the even dry. A week later, it seems to bleed. So I'm sure what you're going to see here is, oh, of course, I'm using a dark color with it, but you can see it's actually already starting to pick up the ink right there. But even a week later, we're getting runoff from the Kiritaki. Oh yeah, look at that chin. That's just gonzo. So, all right. Well, that was my experiment. Overall, gosh, the pens look pretty good. I like the look of the pens. I think for my personal taste in the art, I don't think I have maybe a good enough technique for the pencils down, maybe a better technique for the pencils before I do something like that with the pens. Because I know some people do that at conventions. They will do quick art with pens and color pencils. And I like taking care of my brushes. These are old brushes. And I don't mean old because I haven't painted in a long time. They were old before that. These brushes are probably from the 1980s. And yet I still keep them in pretty good shape. This is Noel Cotman from Winsor & Newton, England, number 111. And watercolor is pretty easy to clean, but in general, I'll use the good old-fashioned the Masters brush cleaner, which I still have a container. Oh my! It's crystallized in there. How interesting. I'm not even going to explore that. But that is a great brush cleaner, especially if you're using acrylics. I've never tried it with oil, but pretty much if you paint with oil, I think you probably throw the brushes out after you're done because it's hard to get oil out. Okay, how's this? Great. It's a white screen. Okay. Let me pull back in my Raising Cane, page 6. This is from issue 7. So it's a simple, well, I say simple, it's a 5-panel image. I have the blue lines, which you may or may not be able to see very clearly because it doesn't show very well. It's non-photo, and here we are using a camera to try to get you to see it. I started penciling this yesterday, and I'm going to go back to it today. And I have a particularly hard part right down here. This last part here is like a mall. Oh, it's interesting. I got some kind of blemish in the paper, but it's a kind of a mall that I have to draw, and that's going to be a pain in the butt. So I'm going to get my pencil back out, and I'm going to go back over some of these early lines. Here's good old Rodney. He looks really kind of funny, actually. Rodney never seems to go very far from his cap. He's always got kind of a scowl going on. So the story so far, some of you know, some of you don't. If you're in my Patreon, you already know what happened in issue 6, where they were ambushed by a scavenger ship who essentially just wanted their ship for themselves. And there was a bonus that they stumbled across John Kane, who has a pretty big bounty on his head. How big, you ask? You'll have to read number 7 to find out, because it's going to be bigger than it was previously advertised. He's had a few encounters now with various bounty hunters, including the resolution of the last issue. He's turning his neck here. He's going to have that heavier neckline. But he's turning his neck, so his Adam's apple probably won't be quite there. As I've explained in another video, I tend to go with simpler lines, and then I'll flesh it out later a little more, which is not always what is recommended from other artists. It's very commonly said, this is where you lay down the seeds for your inking. And you should have all your shading ideas and light sources and all that figured out. I have a different kind of blessing though, because Anton, my colorist, he actually is really, really good at setting the atmosphere. So I can let a little bit more slide. If I didn't have him as my my colorist, I would probably be doing a lot more. It's hard enough to... Oh, that's kind of weird. I shouldn't do that. It's hard enough to do clothing. But clothing more than 100 years out, what's it going to look like? How much is it going to have in common with clothing today? Yeah, you know, realistically speaking, probably not a lot. But yet, when I'm drawing this, you're probably going to figure that you want to make it as recognizable as possible. So you're going to make it sort of more like today's clothing. So he's, you know, he's got like a t-shirt and a vest on. He's got, Rodney's got more the tactical style vest. And then, you know, the girls have like everybody knows Becca wears the tights and the tank top. So keeping a recognizable wardrobe is actually kind of important for readers. May not be most realistic. How many of you have seen that old Woody Allen movie, Sleeper? Show of hands. No one's on the stream, so I'm not going to get a show of hands. But side effect of not advertising this in advance. But if you want to see something where, you know, it's a comedy movie, but in short, Woody Allen's character, I think he was dying of cancer or something like that. And so he went to sleep until they found a cure, right? It's one of those kind of situations. That was really popular in the 70s and early 80s, that kind of idea. And cryogenic sleep. So he wakes up, he's way in the future, everything's changed so dramatically. I don't even know what's going on in his eye there. I'll tell you more about my hands in a second. But everything's changed so dramatically. The world is unrecognizable. People's fashion, it just looks like, you know, to him, like pajamas. Which kind of it was. They were just kind of like overalls and sleepwear. Like, that's what I remember from the movie. Okay. My hand. So you can always tell a good art day from a not so good art day based on what I'm doing with the art. I know that Sounds kind of funny to say, but you try talking and drawing at the same time. Not always easy. What I'm trying to say is that if I type a lot at work, my hands are a disaster, and I do terrible art that day because the hands are tired, the fingers are tired. Today being Saturday, when I'm filming this, I was out doing yard work. It's going to rain this weekend. I should say Sunday, tomorrow. California needs it big time. But probably the only chance for me to get some yard work done. So I did some yard work today. Chopping wood, raking up leaves. And so that fatigues your hands too, because you're using tools and stuff. So my hands don't feel exactly competent. Let's put it that way. This is kind of why I envy some full-time artists, because they can draw anytime during the day. Ooh, this is weird. These guys are overlapping a little bit. They can draw in the morning, do their yard work. Well, I don't know how many of those artists actually do yard work. I'm sure most of them do. Supposed to have a thumb in there somewhere. That's really a weird looking. That's really a weird looking hand gesture there. I'm gonna have to try that again. It's supposed to be doing a little foreshortening here. So my hatching is pretty much going to end up being black with the ink pen. John is walking away. He's got a t-shirt and his vest on. This is outside. Can you see this? Yeah, you can. It's outside my my safe line mark. So I'm not going to put any detail on his face. I know a few artists who they will fill up everything right on down to the trim line. You probably can't see it on the video, but my trim line is right here. This is the not safe line, and then the safe line right there. Trim line, crop line, safe line. John works out, so he's got some muscles. Actually, pretty much everyone works out to some degree. I would like to hope that 140 years from now, when this takes place, people will be a bit more conscientious about their health. Oh my gosh, what am I doing there? I actually don't know what I'm doing with that. If you're grabbing a hat, you're probably gonna have the fingers up like that, not straight out like I did a moment ago. All right, that's a little better. That looks a little more natural. Oops, forgot. There's the, I don't know what you call that on a vest. It's like the under flap. It will go underneath this side when you actually put them together, give you better coverage, better seal. So I'm going to bounce around a little bit because here, they're actually going to be in front of the gangway leaving their ship. So I had previously drawn there were actually windows out to space in the gangway. So ta-da, windows. I should make that narrower. There we go. Yeah, for that scene, I don't think I need much of a background. It's going to be primarily Rodney's, I won't say disbelief, but basically, I give him like really wide lips too. He was asking John right here if John wants to kind of hang out. And John's like, nope, I'm going to go take a walk. That's better. Okay. The mall. This is going to be a pain in the rear. So actually, I'm going to set my first brush off my tabletop here. Got some random eraser bits hanging around. Yeah, oh no. I have a lovely straight edge here. And I also have the camera affixed to, this camera is affixed to the side of the table. So that's about as far down as I can go before I hit the camera mount. Well, well. Okay, that puts it right in camera view for you guys. Trying to light my panel box here. Okay. Back up for a second. If I'm mumbling, let me know. No one's live right now, so but if oh, you know what? Silly me. I didn't check my Patreon because I'm live there too. And how do I get there? Come on now. I can't get into it through my Patreon. That's so weird. Exciting TV, so to speak. Actually, let me click on home. It's probably there. Got a couple Patreon followers, and I know at least one of them knew that I was going to be doing one today. Do not know if he's here. Click. Come on. Show me a picture. Thinking about it. Oh, there we go. Can I see it? Will it, like, crash my computer when I do this? Nope. It wants me to start a playback, but it's not letting me see it live. Maybe Patreon works a little differently. I'll have to double check that later. Thank you, Patreon. All right, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to, oh my, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to have to use my square from the top. I'm going to put in some of the basic lines here. These are the boundaries where I want the mall to be. Different shops. This was going to be a little extra wide. I'm trying. There we go. I have my pencil in my mouth. I'm trying to get my, I don't know what you call this. This is not exactly a, well, they call it a hip curve, I guess. I'll take that blemish out when I scan it. That's really, I think it's in the paper. I kind of feel it. I don't know how I didn't notice that when I pulled the paper out to print this page. There it is. Straighten it out of the way for a sec. And let's hope I can get a good, no, you know what? This is too large. My camera mount is in my way. So let me get a smaller French curve. This one ought to do the trick. Actually, that'll be just perfect. Yeah, worked out pretty well. I have the same sort of thing over here. I can't tell if you can see my sketch lines or not, but nope. There we go. Yeah, sort of does it. French curve. If anybody happens to know why they call them French curves, let me know. The French invent it? I don't know if they invented it or what. Super handy when you're using them right. Oopsie. Wider. Yeah. I can clean that up a bit. My Tuesday live stream that I'm talking about planning, I'll probably still be doing this. It'll probably take me a little while to get this all done. And keep the French curve from tangling with my headset. Yeah, that's much better. When I started sketching this out, I immediately thought of the Bellagio in Las Vegas. Has that really nice dome ceiling with paintings on top. I don't think I'll put paintings on this one, but the dome ceiling is just sort of a nice little design. Nope, I have to go like this. Okay. And then following the same kind of curve lines. Well, no, I can't exactly follow the same curve lines because this will curve. If the point of view camera is here in the center of the page, or the point of view camera is on the second floor, these would actually be straight. Ta-da. Art. Did I mention in a previous stream that I actually took architecture in junior high? This is going to kill me. And if I go from the other side, let's see. Ooh. Almost works from the far side. Yeah, junior high. Not long ago. And then I'll just cheat a little bit here and line it up where my pencil will be. Ta-da. Just off the ruler a fraction, because that's just the width of this little metal housing thing. Oh, not quite. There we go. And And of course, malls have that crazy, I shouldn't say crazy. They have usually very safe. A lot of them have the glass, what do you call it? Railing, I guess you call it. So I'm going to go pretty straight. Ooh. Let's see. A bit of a curve, but not a ton of a curve. Yeah, let's try that. So it's about from my 7. I can flip this over. That works. Mostly. There we go. And get my straight edge again. This is exciting stuff, huh? In just a couple more pages, there's going to be a big fight scene. I think you guys would rather see me draw that, right? In architecture, they would have had me actually measure this out properly. But I don't want to. That's the beauty part about art, is sometimes it's just a level of expression, not necessarily exact to life. And when you're doing science fiction art, hey, there's going to be a lot of not exact real life going on in science fiction. Okay. Glass railing. And now the shops. Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that very well, did I? Shop windows are going to have a very similar curve on the top of the shop windows to let's see, what do I have here? Like that. That for the start. What about there? It's going to be less. It's going to be not as steep a curve. Something more like that. Kind of eyeballing it out. Okay. I'm just gonna get a little of this science. That's pretty good. Yeah, that works pretty well. Ta-da. There's a guy, I'm sure a lot of you know, Joe Benitez. Joe Benitez, Lady Mechanica is the comic I'm getting at. He does some really, really nice Victorian architecture in his books. Okay. Actually, I'm not done with my French curve yet because I'm going to have to do signage. Oops, just got my paper. Again, I'm using my original blue lines as sort of a guide. I like that one. That's a little better. Sorry if you hear me sniffling. Like I said, I was doing yard work today, so allergies. My apologies. Oof, you know what? That's a weird perspective. Okay, hang on a second here. That's going to be a much more severe line. And we'll go like that. Yeah, that looks a lot better. My backside T-square again. And the triangle. Because it will still be, the signage will still be upright. I mean, it won't be hanging down. Making my little drawing noises, as you can probably hear. How many of you that are watching this actually draw on your own, as opposed to watching something or watching somebody draw? And if you draw on your own, do you listen to music? Do you like it silent? Like TV on? Oh my gosh! More signs. 2 floors. Remember? 2 floors. This will be a little bit simpler because let's see, because it's going to be this angle, but keep it straight right about there. That sign. Okay. Yes. So yes, sound of silence, or do you actually like noise? For me, I suppose it depends on depends on the day, really. Yeah, that works pretty well. I kept that perspective in there. There we go. Oh, where was I? Oh, here, wasn't I? Yeah, about there. That sign's going to be pretty square on. This one is where we're going to start to see a little bit more of a curve in. But yeah, see, I want to keep it kind of in line with the other one. They don't have to be exact because you go to the mall, all the store signs are going to be different anyway. Because the shop owner is actually going to make their own sign. Where did that come from? Was that always there? Did it come off the bottom of one of my rulers? I don't know. It has sort of a pinkish hue to it. Did I kill a bug here by accident? I don't know. Comment below if you happen to notice. Okay. So that's the basics to the design. You know what? I'm going to do one more arch. That's the basics to the design right there. I'm going to flesh it out. Fill in the boxes for the signs, give them a little border. I have to do like the door openings. Like I'm showing one here. If you've been to the mall, a lot of them have wide doors. A few of them have small doors, like this here, for example. And then I have people walking around. Drawing this guy, and I'm totally thinking back. There's this art teacher I used to have. He used to do the best stick figures because they were not sticks. They were like this, but they were really super skinny, and they were so weebly wobbly. that makes sense. Weebly wobbly. Okay. Probably have about more than a dozen people on the page here if you can't see with the blue. And I'm making these guys the same scale, which is dumb because he should be farther away. Or she, actually. Let's make that one a she. Yeah, see? Now I have no room for the legs. See? Scale. Grr. Smaller. She's in a dress. There we go. Arms hanging down. Looks like she's walking away. Let me give her a bit of a butt then in that case. And maybe a shoulder bag. I don't have any kids here because this is a working mall for a shipyards. So this is where the employees would go on their time off. Of course, these places would have big windows. Actually, I don't know why I drew a line like that. I got this line up here. Some of them would have the door built into the window, because you can have a contractor come out and make it look like anything you want, right? There'll probably be signs in the windows when I'm done. Clearance sales or something like that. I actually had somebody standing there, probably reading the sign. Yeah. There are people inside. We're actually coming up on the hour. I was only going to do an hour one live stream today. I have no idea what kind of store this is. Sometimes when I draw something, I really need to know what I'm drawing. Some people can just draw junk and make it look real and make it look good, even though they have no idea what they're drawing. But I'm one of those guys who's like, okay, if this is a video store, then this is the Z's over here, and this is the X's over here. Where's Y? I don't know. Okay, people in the store. I will be back on Tuesday. I hope I'm done with this page because this probably won't take terribly too long. Once I get a little more detail in, I flesh out like the depth for these arches, and then I'll probably put in some kind of lighting up on top, and then maybe a handful of details. Oh, I almost forgot. There's John down here. He's going for his little walk, looking around, wearing his vest. You might notice he has his gun on. Oops, is that too high up? Can you see that? Am I pointing? Yeah, I'm pointing above the screen. After issue 4, where he was walking around without a gun, and stuff happens to him, yeah, you start walking around with your gun more often. I'm sure you'll run into places where you're not allowed to take your gun. Do y'all remember it was the news about 3, 4, 5 years ago? It actually became sort of a meme, an anti-gun meme, where people are walking around Target store with rifles slung over their shoulder, because in some states here we have open carry, which means you can carry your weapon anywhere you want. That causes gigantic backlash. But yeah, out in space, out in the frontiers, where there may not be lawmen. You're going to probably be armed again. When we go to Mars, when Elon Musk takes us there in a few years, I will bet you that the first ones probably won't be armed, but after a few thousand colonists start to inhabit the planet, there's going to be disputes, and I'll bet you anything if they don't start manufacturing their own weapons, someone's going to take them from Earth and take them there. So I'm in an hour and 1 minute. I hope you all enjoyed. I am sorry for the weird color experiment earlier. Ta-da! She's got like a jaundiced chest and a 5 o'clock shadow. But yeah, just for kicks, the pens on their own look the best, look the smoothest. The watercolor, frankly, the watercolor actually didn't look a ton different, maybe a little smoother than the pen over the watercolor. So that's interesting. Her hair seems a little extra bright in the watercolor. That's kind of nice. Well, it's kind of bright here too, more orange. Actually, it's really bright with just the pen by itself. I left a white highlight in the hair, which probably makes it look like it's a glow. I should probably fix that. Well, I mean, not this is actually going to be going anywhere, but in the future. All right, everybody. Thanks very much. See you on Tuesday. I'll have something interesting going on Tuesday. I don't think you'll want to see me working on this mall. If I'm not done with this by Tuesday, I'll be really sad. So you all take care. Thanks for joining me, or thanks for watching later. Bye now.